Hello everybody, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is right around the corner. It's coming out on the week I upload this video. It's pretty crazy to think, but it's finally right around the corner. And I thought that there wouldn't be a more perfect time to talk about that one special game that means everything to me. My favorite game of all time, one of the most special experiences I've ever had in fictional media. I'm talking about When it comes to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I actually jumped onto that bandwagon very late. I didn't own a Switch when it came out. I mean, I knew about it, I thought it was a cool idea, but I just didn't buy it for many years. And when it comes to Breath of the Wild, it came out, I saw some clips here and there, thought it looked cool, but the more I saw each year, the more I wanted to play it. Each year I was like, oh man, I want to Switch just for this game. I kept saying it, but I never bought it. And then last year around spring, I finally gave in. I was like, you know what? I want to play it so badly. And as you guys know, I'm in Germany now doing my master's, and I was already kind of going through the process of gathering my documents and all that stuff. And having in mind that I might move in fall of that year, I thought that, you know what, the last thing I would probably be doing is like buying a new console and a game to play, and I'd be too busy. So I was like, you know what, it's the time to finally do it. If I don't buy a Switch and play Breath of the Wild now, I'm probably never gonna do it, or do it somewhere far away in the future. So I finally did it. Last year on March 9th, I bought my Nintendo Switch. I got it secondhand to save some money. It was in mint condition. Everything was working perfectly well. And I got it for cheap, and I got it with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. When I finally got the game, every night for several hours, I would play it non-stop. I mean, every single day would be extremely stressful, not knowing if this whole Germany thing would work out or not. I was constantly anxious, but knowing that I could just play Breath of the Wild at night in my room in just quiet, nice atmosphere was so reassuring, and it was always an incredible experience. Even though I had seen many clips of Breath of the Wild over the years, I didn't know too much about the game and what I was supposed to do, but I knew it was all about the exploration, and so that's exactly what I tried to do with this game. I took my time. I mean, I've always been fascinated with open world games, and this game was aesthetically gorgeous. I could just walk around Hyrule for many hours, and I did just that. I would walk around Hyrule. If something caught my attention, I would go and peek and see what it is about. Maybe do some side quests, do some shrine quests. Plot-wise, the very first thing I actually focused on was to get all the memories, because I actually looked it up online that to get the best ending, you're supposed to get all the memories. So that's what I did. I did some shrines along the way, as I said, and then I did all the Divine Beasts, and I got the full ancient armor. I got Master Sword, for which I got 13 hearts. You know, did enough shrines to get 13 hearts and decent stamina. Got a Hylian shield completely on accident. I didn't even look at any sort of guide or where it is supposed to be. I just discovered it all of a sudden. That's the beauty of the game. And only then, after being fully prepared, I went again. And I wasn't expecting it to be an insanely challenging battle, but it was easier than I thought. I mean, I was very well prepared, but at the same time, that's probably one of the most disappointing parts of the game for me is the final battle. The first stage of Calamity Ganon battle was pretty easy. I think I died once or twice max, and the second stage is just, it's kids play. I mean, it's impossible to die in that one. Look, I'm not expecting a Souls-like battle here, but if it was just a bit more challenging, I would have appreciated. So I hope with Tears of the Kingdom, the Ganon fight will be much better. But otherwise, honestly, don't have too many gripes with this game. When I finished the story after beating Calamity Ganon and being reunited with Zelda, I sat there and watched the credits in awe. It's those rare occurrences when I finish a certain movie or a game or anything like that, and it's so amazing. It's just so inspiring to me, where I just sit and try to comprehend how this was made, how many people it took, how every little thing was contributed to the game for it to be completed, for it to be a masterpiece that it came out to be. And I was just sitting and thinking, wow, it must have been amazing to be a part of a crew like this, making this. Like, I don't have an aspiration to be a game creator or anything like that. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, honestly. But just knowing that there are people out there creating stuff like this, and the idea of being a part of that sounds so interesting to me, sounds so inspiring. And it felt like I was being reborn or something after finishing it. It sounds kind of weird maybe, but it just gave me such energy. I felt rejuvenated after it, after feeling stressed for months, finishing this game. I mean, the story of it, it lifted me. It lifted me into some magical place. Breath of the Wild, being an open world game, is not a game you play for the story and then you just put it down. You play it for hours, for hundreds and hundreds of hours. You play it for years and you go back to it, appreciating how incredibly gorgeous it is, because aesthetically, this game looks amazing. Yeah, obviously graphically it could be much better. The Switch is way in the past, but putting that aside, I think for the aesthetic and for the style they go, graphics work fine for it. And that's why I still go back to this game. I mean, I'm done with it pretty much. I have finished all the shrine quests, all the side quests. I have not collected all Korok seeds. I don't really feel compelled enough to do that. Like, I've collected, I think, 300 or 400, and I think that's kind of enough for me. Like, if I see it along the way, it's fine, I'll collect them, but I don't really embark on a full-on journey to do that. I say that, and I might do it one day, but I just haven't cared enough to do that. Otherwise, I have done everything, and yet I still open the game every now and then to just enjoy the beauty of it. This game has brought hours and hours of comfort into my life. As I have already said, I played it for hours at night when I was going through a very stressful period of my life. I also played it right before moving to Germany. The last month of me being back home, I would play it every night, and my mom would join in. She would just sit down in the couch and enjoy the gameplay. She would get so invested that she would even ask me, like, hey, are you going to be playing that game tonight? And I'd be like, yes, Mom, I'm playing that one. Because I actually hadn't done the DLC, the Master Sword Trial, until that fall, and so yeah, I was doing that, and then my mom was enjoying it, commenting and sometimes bullying me for not being great at the game. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, it was just hours of comforting moments of my mom laying in the couch enjoying the game and my cat sitting next to me as well, and it's just like, it's associated with warm memories. On my very first day when I came to Germany and I finally settled in at not an apartment, at Airbnb. It took some time to find an apartment, but my first night at the Airbnb, I sat down, it was very quiet. I felt at that moment that, oh yeah, I am alone here. There's absolutely no one around. And so yeah, I pulled out my Switch and played some Breath of the Wild. Once again, it calmed me down. When I started my very first part-time job here in Germany, on the way back home later that day, I once again pulled out my Switch to play some Breath of the Wild and calm my anxiety. Every time, in the moments where I have felt sadness, where I have felt unsure, where I have felt stress, or I just wanted to escape into a world, I would do it with Hyrule. I would just escape into Hyrule, walk around, and all of a sudden, I'm just absorbed in this beautiful world. Now I would like to mention a few places that I love and keep revisiting in the game, starting with some villages and towns. The Lurelin village, in terms of being useful, is probably on the bottom, or on like lower part of the list. Not much to do, not much to buy, but it is located on the shore of a beach, and it's gorgeous, I think, especially during sunrise and sunset hours. I mean, sunset makes everything gorgeous, and even though the sun sets from the back of the village where there are hills, I love how the sun reflects on the water and it just looks gorgeous. Terrytown would be the second one I have to mention. Again, not a ton to do except like, I think there's one side quest. I mean, Terrytown itself is a side quest, which makes you that much closer to that village. That whole process of gathering woods and gathering everyone. Definitely one of the best side quests, if not the best side quest in the game. And I love the soundtrack. It's so cozy and comfortable. I feel like many years from now, when I'm an old, retired person, just given up on life or something, somebody plays a Terrytown soundtrack, I'm like, oh, those are the magical days when I was young. And last but definitely not least, Rito Village. Absolutely beautiful and definitely very unique looking. But for me, what makes that village so incredibly special is the soundtrack, because I think the Rito Village soundtrack is one of the best, if not the best soundtrack in the entire game. Every time I hear even the very first notes, I feel like I am being hugged by the song. It feels so incredibly comforting and so incredibly emotional, but not in the way that it's like something grand, but something just cozy and something that reminds you of an adventure and that you're in this nice little town. I don't know how, like, I'm awful. I'm not a music reviewer, as you can see, for a good reason. But this song and the way I feel about it, it's just hard to put it into words. And I think that everybody can agree that it is definitely one of the best out there. And for the locations that are not villages or towns, I have to mention Satori Mountain. The cherry blossom tree makes that spot so special. I mean, discovering it for the first time was amazing. I'm like, oh wow, what is that? What is that beautiful tree? I've never seen that tree around this map ever. And it's one and only, I believe, right? Only on Satori Mountain. And there's this puddle. I mean, I'm not going to call it a lake. It's definitely a puddle with cherry blossom leaves. It looks, or not leaves, but like flower petals. They look amazing. And when it's sunset hour and that orangish sunlight hits that puddle and there are all these flower petals and you're just in there, it's amazing. And lastly, a very plain location perhaps, but I love Hyrule Field. Although it is filled with those annoying guardians, but I mean, after sinking almost 300 hours into the game, I'm totally fine with them. I can beat them pretty easily, so it's not that big of a problem. I just love walking around that grassy land. I think it's so great. I wish I could just go closer to the castle area as well without getting just swarmed by those guardians, because sometimes I just want to walk around. I don't want to engage in combat some days, but it has to happen. But yeah, very excited to see Hyrule and the castle and everything without guardians in the next game. Or are they gonna be there? There are gonna be more foes, but are we gonna have guardians? I don't think we had them on the trail. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, this video's purpose was not for me to talk about how technically amazing this game is and what aspects make it so great. I mean, you already know that. It is considered one of the best games of the last decade, if not the century so far, for a good reason. Everybody already knows what makes this game so special. I wanted to talk about what it makes it special for me personally. I am so incredibly happy that Tears of the Kingdom is coming out. I mean, I had to wait only 1 year since I played it last year, the Breath of the Wild, so I'm kind of lucky for that. But yeah, I can't wait for it. I even sent it to my mom, the trailer of the game. That's how pumped I was for it, and she said it was really awesome and that I should play it in the summer when I go back home. Sorry, Mom, but by then I would definitely be finished with the game, at least for story and most side quests, I guess. But as we already know with Zelda, it is not a game you just complete and put aside. It's a game I will continue revisiting for many, many years, and I'm pretty sure Tears of the Kingdom is going to be the same. So that was my video on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this game? I mean, is there anybody who hates this game? I mean, I definitely get Zelda fans who maybe don't consider it their favorite or one of their favorites, but in terms of just people who've played it, Is there anybody who doesn't like it? It's amazing. Anyways, so I'm excited that I finally talked about this, and it's been a while since I've uploaded. Is there a point to say sorry or to promise anything? Every time I just am awful with consistency, but I try, and there are some ideas I have, and a video that I've actually recorded a while ago that needs just editing, and that's all. So videos will be coming out soon, and until then, I hope you're patient, and thank you for all the support. Let's play Tears of the Kingdom. Jesus, how am I going to upload anything? How am I going to do anything? Uni assignments, everything, when Tears of the Kingdom comes out. It's Friday. It's going to be this Friday. You know, I might not make videos ever again.